Welcome to another edition of Lou's Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Durham action figures. Yeah, I love using that voice. A little raspy, a little rough day yesterday. I'll give you a quick little overview of some figures you might have seen. Some of you might be familiar with some of them, and some maybe not so familiar. We'll go through them a little bit and kind of give you guys a little idea of what goes on here. Now, these are just some of the many figures that Durham Industries had put together, knocking off pretty much everything you can imagine. Here's an Evel Knievel knockoff, a little G.I. Joe knockoff, got some Western and so on. Now, a couple things about these. Every figure you see on these cards right here are the 5-inch, 5.5-inch figures. So let's start over here. We've got Cycle Cop. Now remember, these are from the 70s, so this is before the Terminators was RoboCop. And if you notice the card, it says Durham Cycle Cop. Down here, it's got the Durham logo, and off it goes. Every one of these has some kind of action with the right arm. There's a plastic button on the back, and this has basically his press arm button on the back of the arm will swing automatically. He's automatic push button quick draw. Okay. It's not the best toy. They're very low quality. They're very cheap. But what makes these so desirable for collectors is really the card art. It is absolutely outstanding. I mean, you just take a look at this. They just don't do this anymore. This is a very rare piece that I just got in, and I have to thank my friend David Eon and LPH from Open by Chance Vintage Toys. They have a great YouTube channel. You can find them on Facebook and on YouTube. A Bluebeard. I never heard of Bluebeard before. He has what we call automatic push button swinging hook action. He's got a parrot in one hand, he's got a hook on the other, and just absolutely phenomenal card art. Never saw this before, never even knew it existed till David and LPH pointed this out to me. We've got Glump. Glump took advantage of that old caveman back in the 70s dinosaur movie style that used to come out. Mego had some 1 million BC figures, and I'm sure that with all the dinosaurs and stuff that were being put out by Mark's Toys, I'm talking little plastic dinosaurs a lot of us had as kids, and so on, that this figure Glump with his club swing, again, Durham toy, Durham's Glump. See a little dinosaur over here. Strange dinosaur, but very, very cool. Then, of course, who could ever forget Daredevil Rider? Now, he's riding the motorcycle, but he has waving flag action. I'm not quite sure he's waving the flag. He's dressed in a motorcycle outfit, riding the motorcycle, but this obviously was meant to take advantage of the Evel Knievel craze of the day. Some really great card art on there. You see, it's a complete rip-off of Evel Knievel. I happen to have a few of these. I just find them phenomenal. And again, it says Durham. You'll see why I'm pointing that out in a moment. Next is our G.I. Joe ripoff, which is our Durham Ranger. It's got a pistol in his hand, automatic push button quick draw action, just like the Cycle Cop, or somebody said Psycho Cop. Very great card art. You've got him parachuting from a plane or out of the sky. You've got him with a quick draw of his gun, and here he is. Looks like an Uzi to me. All right, I'm going to move over here before I go over there. Over here is fireman action, and you may say, well, what is this ripping off? Well, any guys remember the old TV show Emergency? Well, there you go. Big craze back in the day, 96 cents. Now this sticker, what's interesting about this sticker is this sticker is not a sticker. It's actually printed onto the card, unlike some of the figures I'm going to show you. It's actually printed on there at 96 cents. You've got the Dalmatian, you've got another fireman in the background. Got him going to action with his axe. He's got his little oxygen tank over his shoulder. And here he is with his automatic push button swinging axe. Great figure. He's got that Bruce Lee style head. His more famous figure that most people are familiar with. I'll go through that in a little bit. Here he is on the back. Now, the next I'm going to show you is Young Kung Fu Chop. Young Kung Fu, with the automatic push button chop, is a direct ripoff from the TV show Kung Fu, and this literally stole this image right from a young Kwai Chang King, who in the TV show the adult was played by David Carradine. I forget who the young boy was played by, but complete ripoff, absolute ripoff. Again, Durham and Durham. Now we get into Safari Hunter. Now, he's one of the few that actually had a companion or a set. So this Safari Hunter, this sticker right here, on here, This one actually happens to be, again, printed on. You see it says Safari Hunter. Okay, what you don't see on this card is, I don't think you see Durham on this one, but what you would see if you look at the bottom carefully, it's hard to see, it says FW Woolworths. This Safari Hunter is a complete ripoff of the Marks Safari Safari Hunter figure, done a 5.5-inch scale. Even his companion, which I used to have, I don't have now, I sold my collection at one point, start again. They made his companion here, okay, also to go with him. It was one of the few sets that actually had more than one figure, and there he is. And this is a complete ripoff of the Marks Ranger, the Marks Safari Hunter, I'm sorry. This one, let's see, this one actually says, yeah, this is also Woolworths. It doesn't say Durham. This is actually Prairie Scout. You'll see it says Durham's Prairie Scout. That's printed on. This is this is the Native American or Indian, if you will. But on the back, you see this cowboy because he also had a companion. He had this companion here, was also the Prairie Scout. We're going to talk about that in a minute. If you take a look at this one, you'll say, oh, it's the same card. It's not. You see, this one has the sticker printed on. This one does not. Department 235. You see that there's no word Durham. Okay. Why? Because this was the FW Woolworth and Company version. So Durham was making figures for FW Woolworth that did not say Durham. They said FW Woolworth. There's some relation there. I'm not quite sure what it is. I had to do a little more research. But these actually were sold in other 5 and dime stores. Now let's talk about this cowboy for a second, if you will, this Prairie Scout, because Durham also made a series of 9-inch figures with push-button action. And I'm going to show you what they look like. You can see the little push-button back here. The spring gets very, very crappy. These actually had removable hats like a lot of the figures did. This is not the figure that would be in this card. As you can see, this is a 5-inch figure, and you need a 5-inch figure to fit in that card. So what they actually did was they took this figure, took the head off and the hat, made him into a 5-inch version of the 5-inch body, and he had the same gun-swinging action. There were 3 of these larger 9-inch. There was, it's Buffalo Bill, that's Jesse James, and there's a Wyatt Earp who has very similar but black shirt instead of red, and the head sculpt's different. Okay, so this figure and a 9-inch was made in a 5-inch and was put on the Prairie Scout's companion to this guy. This was stolen from Marks, both these characters. This is what he looks like loose. He's got that same kind of head over here. You'll see is the fireman, which is similar to the Bruce Lee style figure, I like to call him, because that's where they ripped them off from. But take a look at the paint. You see it all peels off. These are such cheap figures. The quality is so crappy. I mean, I don't know how kids could these would even last. But I do have to say that I really love these figures. They're fantastic. Okay, let's go back to the Young Kung Fu for a second. If you take a look, this is the Young Kwai Chang Caine. Well, they also made, you can find the box version, I'll have to get it, is this 9-inch quote-unquote Bruce Lee figure. The problem with these, as many as you can see from here, which you'll know, these figures, they filled the arms with glue, the joints with glue, they plug these up on both sides. These sitting in the sun over time, the glue just becomes soft again and the pieces fall out. They get glue stains on their clothes and they just get ruined over time. Let me just grab a quick box version because I thought I had that here. Oops, as I was pulling them apart to show you guys. Here's a box version of the Kung Fu figure, and you can see. Now he came in Durham, fully jointed, push button action with the Durham logo. He also came fully jointed with the Woolworths version, which I believe I have somewhere. I don't know where it is right now, but this was the box version. But if you look inside, you can see the hands are pulling out and that glue just gets everywhere. It's a disaster, but the box is great. The card artwork is fantastic. I mean, look at that. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, this right here is our Ranger figure, loose. It's our Ranger figure. Is a really cool figure. Mine, the tip of the gun's broken, but you can see the button on the back. And again, you can see very, very cheap quality. The heads on these, for everybody to know, is very squishy, but the bodies are very hard plastic. Here's the fireman missing his hat from here. He's missing his hat. His axe is molded in. All the things in their right hand, if they had an object, were molded on. Okay. and again the back. And these are really cool figures. As I collected these, this one I remember seeing many years ago. I did have both Safari Hunter and his companion for Stolen from Marks, and you learn a little more. These, I had this one, the Kung Fu, but all these, the Psycho Cop, the Fire, the Blue Beard, these were all mentioned to me, again, from David Eon and LPH of Open by Chance Vintage Toys. Again, a great YouTube channel with a lot of followers. I really give you guys a little push and tell you to go check them out and like and subscribe. Now, Durham did make a little bit, they went another direction with some other figures, and they actually made MASH figures. This is Durham's MASH. They made Hot Lips and they made Hawkeye. That's it. She came with a little medical kit. Again, very cheap quality, 9-inch, but they did put some really nice black and white photos from the TV show. And on the back, she has the case swinging action. Hawkeye comes with a golf club, and he has club swinging action. Now again, I'm going to show you this because you see this says Durham's. These also came in 2 varieties, not just 2 figures, and these are the only 2 figures they made in the set. The cards are pretty much the same, except this one has the department on it, $2.35, $2.33. Notice there's no Durham's MASH. It's just MASH. They also had this caution not recommended to fill some of that red space up there, like where they had Durham. You can see Hawkeye came with 2 clubs in there. Very cheap figure, if you will. I actually wound up getting 2 Steve Scout figures with 2 of these hats. I believe I sent them off to someone because I didn't need them. But if you're collecting these Durhams, then you're going to be, and you want to be a completist, you're going to wind up having to find the MASH figures with the Durham logo on each, and then the one without the Durham logo. So I need a Hot Lips without the logo and a Hawkeye with the logo. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. They're actually really cool figures. They are very, very, very cheap. They are a little bit hard to find at times. Some of them are very popular. These you have to be very careful. Like I said, the glue just pours right out. Things fall, it gets on their clothes, and they get ruined. But thanks for checking it out. If you like what you saw, you leave a comment, of course. I'll be happy to reply. We'd love it better if you'd like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Thanks for checking it out, and have a great evening.